This is the home of Henry Kravis. It is a 26-room penthouse on New York City's exclusive and very expensive Park Avenue. There is a gallery, library, dining room, ballroom, and a recreation room that is 68 feet long. The triplex features wood-burning fireplaces in every room except the kitchen. Henry Kravis is a founding partner in the private equity company KKR. He made $450 million last year, which comes out to $1.3 million per day, or $51,369 per hour, every hour of every day. KKR has more revenue than Coca-Cola, Microsoft, and Disney combined, and 560,000 people work for KKR companies, more people than live in the city of Atlanta, Georgia.
I teach Spanish, and I teach from grade levels pre-K all the way up until 6th grade. The children that I teach are all at different levels, from introductory to conversational. And I think the thing that I like most about what I do is offering the children a second language. I have to become very creative and very inventive as a single parent with 3 kids. As a teacher, I'm making under $30,000 salary a year, and that's not very much for a family of 4.
This is the second home of Henry Kravis. This home on North Lake Way in Palm Beach, Florida was not for sale, but Henry offered a record-setting $50 million for the 5-acre estate. In addition to the 15,000 square foot main residence, it has an additional 13,000 square feet of covered space and 2 additional buildings for staff. Kravis and KKR, like all the private equity giants, take over public companies using primarily borrowed money. To pay off this debt, they then sell the assets of the companies, fire thousands of workers, and radically cut benefits of the remaining employees. It is the same product, in the same building, with the same customers as before.
I work at the Neuropsychiatric Hospital at UCLA. I work the night shift, give medications, shots. We do rounds every 15 minutes and check on everybody that they're well and taken care of. I get a little extra, I think $1.75 an hour extra for working night shift. I started in 1982 at UCLA. Maybe $23,000 a year I was making. Now I make about $22 and something an hour, and probably around $40,000 a year. Oh my God, what he makes in an hour. Oh my God, that's what I make in a year, if I'm lucky.
This was the third home of Henry Kravis. The grounds include formal gardens, tennis courts, acres of horse paddocks, a greenhouse, and outbuildings. The Kravises have made improvements to the estate, including the construction of 3 lakes, a waterfall, and the redesign of a hill to make the drop a bit more gentle. Now, at a flick of a dial, water speed can be adjusted from babbling to gushing to Niagara Falls. $7 million was spent renovating a barn on the property. Henry Kravis and company have participated in 160 takeovers and borrowed a large part of $320 billion to do so. The private equity corporations make sweetheart deals with the banks to finance these takeovers. Then they pump and dump the companies they control, often resulting in lost jobs for workers, the destruction of communities that rely on the companies, and extreme profiteering for the private equity corporations.
My name's Sarah Jepp, and I'm 35. I'm an audio technician and engineer. In a typical day, I will go to work at any given music venue, wire it, run power, run cable, do a sound check with the speaker, mix so that all the levels are right. When I borrow money on a credit card, I'm rewarded with high interest payments, hidden fees, annual charges that could put me over the limit. It affects my credit negatively. When Henry Kravis borrows money, he gets rewarded with millions of dollars in tax breaks, and he ends up paying less in taxes, percentage-wise, than his maid. That's just not fair.
Henry Kravis spent $10 million on his 4th home, a beachfront villa like these in the Dominican Republic. Casa de Campo development. Designed by Oscar de la Renta, he then spent another $25 million for renovations. The resort has 2 18-hole golf courses, 2 polo fields, and 150 polo ponies, 13 tennis courts, 8 swimming pools, a gymnasium with saunas, and a fleet of fishing and sailing boats. The money they borrow to take over companies is deducted from the taxes they should otherwise pay. The borrowed tax-free money is not used for new jobs or new factories or new products. On most of their income, Henry Kravis and the other private equity tycoons pay half the tax rate that firemen, teachers, and policemen pay. Private equity companies have spent millions of dollars on lobbying to protect their tax loopholes.
I joined the Marine Corps in 1965. I was 17 years old. I left for Vietnam in February. I spent 20 months in Vietnam. I work as a contractor for the Army Family Programs Office. I feel that whatever I do to pay my taxes or help people, I mean, that should be, everyone should be paying the same. He gets all these tax breaks. I mean, what about us? I mean, you know, why they take away our tax break, but then they turn around and give it to the rich? $45,000 an hour? I mean, I just hit $45,000 a year, maybe in last year making that much money. That's $45,000 a year, and he makes it in an hour.
This is crazy. It's very unreasonable that someone should live in a 28-room mansion while paying less taxes than one's made in percentage costs.
This was the 5th home of Henry Kravis. There are 8 deluxe guest suites in the main lodge, extraordinary fly fishing, hiking, and riding. He sold it to golf legend Greg Norman for $16 million. What would you do if you lived in one of the Kravis homes for the holidays?
Get all of the kids and bring them over.
I can't even imagine.
What would you do if you could have Henry Kravis's penthouse for 24 hours?
I'd throw a big party.
I would put everything on eBay in the house and sell it, and then I would give all the money to charity.
I'd take in a lot of stray dogs.
I don't think I'd have the time to enjoy it because I would just come home from work, go to sleep, and have to leave again.
I'd probably sell it.
I would sell it, and then I would buy every video game in the world.
I would kind of make it like a refuge for people who were in transition.
If I lived in one of those mansions that was 26 bedroom, 15 restrooms, and a maid's room, and I was getting $45,000 an hour, that city would have probably the biggest barbecue and party they've ever seen in their whole life, because I'd open up the doors and invite as many people in as I could.